live. Another episode of Studio Stories. I got my A1 Day One in the building. None other. First of all, I gotta give you proper introduction. Proper introduction for the world. So right now we have our second guest here on Studio Stories. We have none other than the Emmy Award winning choreographer, Emmy Nominated Director, and world-renowned street dance living legend, the one and only Jon Boogz. Y'all give it up.
Respect.
That's coming. You know what? We're gonna do a live one of these days because we need that little. Yeah. It gave me the idea. Like we need a little audience going. We need that.
Little audience participation.
You get the honorary.
Yeah, respect.
But bro, I'm so happy you pulled up, bro.
No, I'm happy to be here, man.
I'm happy to be here. You pulled up because I feel like you're known in the street dance world and entertainment world, and a lot of them, they see you in interviews and you gotta say the right things, or you gotta say the thing that you're talking about in particular, whatever project you're working on, but they don't get to talk to Jon Boogz. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm the one, being that we so tight, to get to talk to you.
Respect,
and let the world know a little bit more about
it. For sure, man.
So, Studio Stories, of course, is brought to you by Block by Entertainment. Yeah. So we're gonna get comfortable. Me, I'm already on a little bit of Block by Liquors, until we get the sponsor. But I know you don't drink like that.
Yeah.
So I got something special for my dog. We're gonna get my dog right. A little something light when we want to be a little more demure. We got that Block Bot wine, you heard? We got the Block Bot wine. We pulling it out for the demure. Hold on, got my dog a glass.
Respect.
Keep it class, you feel? So I'll pull you up a little bit. I'm working on a name. I was going with I got a Block Bot Beret. Yeah. Or a little Block Bot Shiraz. Give it a little splash.
I like the Shiraz.
Yeah, some Block Bot Shiraz. Yeah. Hey, I'm opening names. Anybody want a name? Hey, for the viewers, drop some Block Bot wine names in the comments. But we're gonna get my dog right, so everybody get a little comfortable. Don't spill none on the set, Mike. That's all we got. Yeah. We got the Studio Story cards.
No, that's fire. In the Baltimore.
And they Ravens colors. And they Ravens colors. So stop playing with me, bro.
Tight.
So I want to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
This is a big elephant in the room right here. What is this right here? Can you explain to the crowd what this actually is?
Well, to be honest, I didn't even want to bring it because it's one of those things where you never want to come off braggadocious or any of that kind
told him to bring it.
Any of that kind of energy. But no, this is the Emmy trophy from the episode we won the Emmy on for Blind Spotting. So we won this year, January 6th, because the Emmys was pushed back a little bit because of the actor strike and the SAG strike and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I still trip out when I look at it because, for like an artist, art is subjective. So we don't have championships like the NBA or the NFL. So the Tonys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, that's like our championships. So it feels like after all the years of hard work, like I finally got one.
Yes. And one thing about Emmys, just for the viewers, it's not just for dance. Emmy is the highest level of television championships for all categories of entertainment. So if you did the music, you can win an Emmy for the music of television. If you're an actor, lead role, and for yours was choreography. So and I'm so happy that I was a part of that episode.
Hella dope.
To what? That was like first TV appearance pretty much for me, and boom, it's an Emmy-winning one, thanks to you. So I always give flowers to that. I appreciate it.
Respect.
I remember watching it at the crib the first season.
Yeah.
Bro. And remember I got booked, you told me to come out first season, but the COVID thing messed it up.
It was COVID,
And I was in a high traffic. I was still sitting home in Baltimore. Yeah. And we were watching you and Buck episode 4. Me personally, I think Chef 2.
Yeah.
Because I think
that was crazy.
That episode should have been one, and this one.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that with my mom and grandma, and they bust up crying.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
That was a powerful piece. I got to shout out Lil Buck because even though I won the Emmy for season 2, like me and him built the language of movement for the TV show together. You know what I'm saying? That season 1 was kind of like like David and Rafa really gave us like a platform to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. They kind of gave us free range, and it was like us figuring out like how to bring the stuff we had already been doing in our work and in theater onto the television. And just like, I always got to give them props because they gave us a lot of like leeway to just do what we do. So season 1 felt like we were figuring it out. And then by season 2, we knew exactly how to attack it. We knew what the ups and downs, what the obstacles would be when you're dealing with television. And so I think we were able to like dream bigger and do like bigger things with season 2. But season 1 to me was still extremely special because it was like the first time getting to see what we had been doing for so long transferred onto television. So it was super dope. Super dope.
Bro, to be on set, like, because you see all the behind the scenes
Yeah.
stuff, you see all the cuts and whatever it is that goes behind the scenes. But for me, to know what we do from street performance, like to see how you started out street performing. I mean, from the mud, we come from the mud, from the battle world, and to walk on that set and for it to get an Emmy was like, it don't feel real until I seen you on the stage, accepting that speech.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dang, bro, we was on that.
Yeah,
I remember them rehearsals, and I'm like, this is crazy.
I mean, even bigger than that, it's kind of like I always think about the people who paved the way prior. You know what I'm saying? I think about the Boogaloo Shrimps. I think about Granny and the Robotroys. I think about Black Messengers. I think about Electric Boogaloos. Rest in peace, Mr. Animation. Skeeter Rabbit, who was a part of Electric Boogaloo's. I mean, all these Nicholas Brothers, the Lockers, like so many legendary street dance groups who like helped commercialize the art form that we do. And then we're just trying to pick up the torch and continue to evolve it and take it to the next level. So for me, like without those dancers, I wouldn't even be the first popper to win an Emmy because they set the tone. And now I'm just trying to put my stamp on the game, and my crew and my team and my collective of people that I work with, you know, just trying to put our stamp on the game. And I think we did that.
I think we did it too, bro. Especially, you said something very interesting. You said the first.
Yeah.
To be the first at something is always special because I don't think I even registered that it's the first.
Yeah.
It doesn't register. 75 years of the Emmys.
No street dancers ever won.
We're the first.
Yeah.
Like that's before our time. That's before a lot of it's people that we know that we love that'll never see that. It's before a lot of people's time and after.
Yeah.
So from learning on the internet, just watching the VHS tapes to being the first in entertainment history. It's not just dance.
Yeah.
We go down in history under this Emmy, bro. So that is a feat. And we Black.
Yeah.
That's what we really got.
Facts.
We from the hood, like from the bottom. Look, I know where you're from.
Yeah.
Originally from Philadelphia, right?
Yep.
Tell them your
chronological order.
Like this man moving everywhere. Like,
I lived a lot of places, you know, because my father was a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? He didn't graduate college or anything like that. He was working in retail from the ground up, you know, so he worked at every store from Toys R Us to Kmart to Walmart, and he kind of landed on Walmart, and so he went wherever they told him to go, to be honest, because it's like, hey, wherever I got to feed my family. So, you know, I started off in Southwest Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, Overbrook. Yeah, Overbrook and Cobbs Creek, which is Southwest Philadelphia. So I lived there till I was about maybe 10, 11 years old. And then some domestic issues was happening with my mother and her relationships and stuff. So we had to kind of make a change. So me and my brother moved with our father, and my father was living in Catonsville, which is Catonsville, which is like right outside of Baltimore. And he was working at one of the first Walmarts that they built, actually, right outside of Baltimore in Catonsville. So I moved there for a couple years, and that's where I really got introduced to popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was dudes in the neighborhood. I got to shout them out. People may not know who they are, but to me, they were superheroes. Richie, Raheem, Corey Ruff, Bobby Digital, Joe. Like, these were guys who, like, I remember going to the school dances, and like, I remember seeing a popping battle for the first time, and Baltimore club music is blasting. Everybody's dancing, and it's like this excitement. I'd never been to a dance before. I'm 6th grade, you know, you're 12 or 13 years old, and I walk in, and I just see a big crowd of people crowding around, roaring, and I see this dude with Tim boots on, Guess jeans, just looking super Baltimore, bro. And he's ripping. And I'm just like, what is that? And whatever he's doing, I gotta master that. It was like, it's like those movies where like the guy sees the girl across the room and everything in the room goes blank and all he sees is that beautiful woman. That's how I felt when I saw Poppin' for the first time. I fell in love with it instantly. It was like an instant, I gotta do that. They saw that I could pick it up fast because they were older than me. So they took me under their wing, Corey and them, and they gave me Mr. Wiggles tapes. Shout out Wiggles. They gave me the Breaking VHS tape. So they were putting me on the game of what real popping was. And then, so from 11 to about 13, that was my Maryland era.
Yeah.
But I soaked in a lot, you know what I mean? And then I moved to Miami at the summer of 8th grade going into high school. And then Miami was its own world, you know what I'm saying? Because Miami's actually really known for b-boying, Flipside Kings, Ground Zero, Street Masters, like all these iconic b-boy groups. But it has actually some of the best poppers as well that I've ever seen. Shout out Deadly Venoms, you know, the Aqua Boogies, the Gumby Locks, the Anonymouses, the Devies. Oh my God, Debbie.
Legend.
Yeah, all out.
Legend.
Yeah, all out.
Legend from Florida.
Debbie was crazy. You can look up Debbie versus Bionic, man. Iconic battle. And then you had, oh my gosh, just so many groups. So it's kind of like a Philadelphia where I grew up there, learned the soul, just being around black people all the time and just listening to music and my mom making me get up and dance at like just local, when we're having Christmas parties or holiday parties. Yeah.
Show, baby.
Yeah. Just dancing. And then Baltimore was like going to school for it. It was like, no, here's Mr. Wiggles. These are these guys. These are these guys. And then I got introduced to the world of it. And then going to Florida was when I started competing in it and starting to take it to the next level, because Fort Lauderdale, Miami has some of the, to this day, to me, still has some of the most creative poppers that I've ever seen. Some people, they have their ideas of who are good poppers and who aren't. I have a different philosophy on the dance totally. And so there's some cats that people will never know that to me are still some of the most creative people I've ever seen and are still kind of are responsible to a degree for me wanting to continue to like level up. So it was a Philly, Maryland, Miami connection is how I kind of.
And you took all that stuff, because I know once you went to the West Coast, once you traveled to LA, you were already Jon Boogz.
100%.
Which means that, and this is for everybody growing up in the hood right now, he mentioned Philly. We know what rep Philly get in the media. We know what rep Baltimore get in the media. We know what rep Miami get.
Yeah.
Yet, with that DNA, you were able to move to the West Coast already established and win an Emmy.
Yeah.
So that's saying something about those places, that what the media portrays is not the only thing that's there. It's gems in these places. It's creative gems. So y'all back at home, I don't want y'all to feel like this is it. Like, it's from the same hood in Philly.
Yeah.
From the same hoods in Baltimore. From the same hoods in Miami.
Yeah.
It's creative geniuses there. And y'all are the creative geniuses now. So don't think that that's it. Like, you can still take.
To be honest, I think people who live in more remote cities, like, because everybody wants to live in New York, everybody wants to live in LA, because that's kind of where the businesses are, you know, Broadway, television, modeling, whatever it is you're trying to do, production. Those cities seem to reign supreme. But I've always, Atlanta too, I got to give Atlanta's definitely coming up in that, and not coming up there. They're there. Yeah, they're there. But like, I think to a degree, like, sometimes you have an advantage when you're not surrounded by all the busyness and the hoopla. Like, you really have a chance to tap into your creative genius. You don't, sometimes if you know, I say this all the time, people go to LA, if you don't have like a firm foundation of who you are, it can change you and mold you into somebody you're not. So I'm glad that I lived in Philly and in Baltimore and Miami, because they gave me a firm foundation of who I am. So by the time I got to LA, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what my goals were. I was 21 years old. I was young. But even though I was young, I had a vision of where I could take the art form. And there were some bumps in the road, of course, you know, like any journey. But like I wasn't out there like, who am I? You know what I'm saying? I was out there like, oh, I'm Jon Boogz, and y'all are gonna respect me, and I'm going to try my best to leave my imprint not only on popping but like entertainment.
Entertainment. And a lot of times when you're in them areas, like you said, you're not saturated with, you know, whatever the rat race is of success. We also come from an era pre-social media and then navigated into it.
Yeah.
So our foundation is a little different. We always had that, man, what? I could do that too. Go home, train it. We had nobody to look at.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, so the next time I see you, I only have to compete with what I have.
Exactly.
Or whatever I'm doing on the stage is this is what it is. And
Facts.
it just so happened to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we had nothing to compare it to. So.
Yeah. You automatically have your own unique sauce because you're not, you know. And I also love the era I came up in because like when I first started learning to dance, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube, there was no Instagram. So like you had to go to the party, or you had to go to the school dance, or you had to go to that neighborhood, or you had to go to that block party, and you had to witness it. You know, I just told you my first experience was in Baltimore at a school dance. Like I didn't see it on YouTube. I saw it in real time, you know what I mean? At a black social event, you know what I'm saying? And being like, this is crazy. So I think there's something also about that era of not being overly saturated and having to actually socialize and be communal about how you learn it. And then we're the generation that also bled into Instagram and Facebook, and so there's pros and cons to both. But I wouldn't change my era for anything. I love the era that I started learning it.
And that's what I still love about the hood, bro. Like, I like partying with even going into like back home, going around to young people because they still doing the same thing kind of we did. In black neighborhoods, it's still the underground parties. It's still the underground art scene, which I was just talking about with my other homie, OG Bibbin.
Yeah, yeah.
You go to Atlanta, they got a whole underground world. It's nothing pretty much, everybody blends in.
Yeah.
You go to some of these other cities where like LA sometimes it's like a status quo of what the party's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
sometimes, but there's some places out there that's turned up. Like, you gotta know who's who.
Yeah.
And then you gotta have somebody with you. You can't just be going anywhere.
100%.
So with that, like that's the TV film era. We know you've pretty much got your trophy in that space. How does that trickle down into other forms of entertainment? Because I know you've done a lot of directing. So with dance and choreography, taking that to film, how does directing play into that?
Well, I got to start in LA in order to answer that question, because when I came to LA, well, first I got to start with my mother. My mother is a huge film lover of film. So when I was younger, my mom made me watch The Roots, Schindler's List, Color Purple. So she made a lot of musicals.
What make you cry?
Yeah. West Side Story. So like my mom was like not just making me watch children's films. She wanted me to watch things that I think resonated with her spirit and made her feel a way. And she wanted to share that experience with us. So my love for film comes from her. And when I came to LA, it was very like the ABDC era. Like everybody was like going on the TV shows, and it was the LXD era. So it was kind of like, you know, it was more like if you weren't on those shows or anything like that, like, and just the way the dance was portrayed at the time, it was a little bit more commercial and less like grit. And I was always like, how come nobody's doing things that make me feel the way I feel when I watch Color Purple, or when I watch Schindler's List, or when I watch The Roots for the first time? And so I was like, oh, I'm going to try to create things that give me the same feeling that the movies that I love the most make me feel. And so my first carnival experience was me and Boogie Frantic, and we did a piece, and Toogie, and we did a piece about domestic violence, because we both dealt with that in our childhoods or witnessed it, seen it, been a part of it. So we were like, we should do like a split screen kind of effect on stage. And yeah, I remember this is a time like no one's helping us direct these things. Like we, you know, I knew very young that I had to deem myself the director. You know what I'm saying? Like even because even how you say, oh, in LA, they think the party has to look like this. They also think the director should direct like this. The actor should look like this. The model should look like this. Everyone puts stereotypical approaches to these different forms when in reality, we're all unique storytellers in our own way. So in reality, if you like to go this way, that way with it, and I like to go this way, that way with it, it's totally fine.
Right.
So I think I started approaching theater first, Carnival, shout out to Carrie and them. They gave me a platform. And sometimes Carnival, they used to be like, you only get 3 to 4 minutes. But Carrie was really fond of me and he knew I had something to say. So he would always give me 6, 7 minutes, which is like double the length of anyone else's piece. And he would let me tell these crazy stories, man. Like, the one with Frantic. I also did another one. I'll send you all these.
I seen them.
Yeah.
I was tapped in. We've been knowing each other for a long time. I remember the piece at Carnival with Frantic. I remember.
Yeah, and I did another one with me, Ninja Now, Tony Turbo, She Street, and it was called Inner City Blues. And my mother used to give me these vivid stories about her brother and how he was a heroin addict. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to depict some of the stories that she told me about how hard it was for him to get off of it. And so I remember doing a Carnival piece where this is 2011. I'm up there animating, like shooting up heroin and like trying to fight it and like depicting what my uncle went through. And people were like, at that time, nobody was doing anything like that with popping. But that was me tapping into my love for film and, and trying to adapt my love for film onto the stage. And then so basically over time, I'm doing carnivals. I'm putting out the best stories I can possibly do with the budget and the money that I had, which was nothing.
Yeah.
I'm street performing every single day. We're taking 2-hour bus rides down from North Hollywood to Santa Monica, street performing for 8 hours, get back on the bus, turn around the next day, wake up, do it again. And I did that for about 5 years straight. And I don't know how we lived like that. I don't know how we did it, but like, it was like, it built this,
locked in.
Yeah, it built like some crazy resilience. And then Cirque du Soleil came knocking. I auditioned for them. And then they picked me up. And Cirque, the reason why I got to always shout out Cirque, because Cirque finally gave me financial freedom. Yeah. I never had financial freedom. When you're trying to just figure out how you can pay your dental care, medical care, just regular bills, how can you be the best version of yourself? You know what I'm saying? So Cirque gave me the financial freedom to go, okay, what do you really want to do with this? I've tried little samples. You did the carnival pieces with Frantic and Control Freaks. And like, I played with the ideas, but I knew there was more to what I wanted to do. And Cirque gave me that chance to watch a production that's millions of dollars. Michael Jackson won, and Michael Jackson's estate being involved, and see what it's like to do a high level theater. And then it also gave me the money to create Color of Reality. And Color of Reality was the first short film that I had, second short film I directed. No, actually, I directed a lot of short films before Color of Reality. I just count Color of Reality because that was the one that put me out there,
You said something interesting. When you're sitting there, you're talking about, and you touched on it briefly, you said, I don't know how we was living like that.
Yeah.
Explain the living conditions. Like, I want people to really see, because you're doing all of these things. Meanwhile, at the same time, we in the same crew at the same time.
Yeah.
So we still popping, and you still battling. We're all still battling.
Yeah.
So we're still very active in the underground community while you're trying to reach to the Hollywood commercial world. What was the living conditions actually like?
It was 4 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment. So we had two queen beds directly next to each other, and
this is grown people.
Grown men. Yeah, two beds like this, and then now would sleep head, I'd sleep feet, and then Marcus would sleep head and Switch would sleep feet. And we were going head to feet, you know what I'm saying?
And then getting up.
The bus ride. You got to charge the generator overnight, so your generator can be charged for a day, and a generator might give you about 10 hours. So, you got to charge it overnight, or else you're going to mess up your money the next day. So, yeah, we would sleep like that, wake up, and we would take buses down to Promenade until, luckily now, always had some side hustles, and he finally got a car. It wasn't until like maybe a few years that he got a car. And you carrying
a generator and a radio the whole
time. Big speaker, big generator. And we're on the bus doing that. 2.5 hours one way, 2.5 hours
And y'all
another.
done slept like this all night.
And we slept like that.
I'm guessing the beds wasn't king size beds, right?
No, it's queens, 2 queens,
So
man.
you got four
And you know
people.
I'm 6'2",
Yeah,
6'1".
yeah.
So
You've been 6'2" for a while now.
yeah. I haven't grown in a while, so I was definitely the same height I am now then. And then
Street perform all day. Bust back with the generator.
bust back with the generator.
And then sleep in them same conditions, do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah, and sometimes I think we were using the dance as a healing mechanism at that time because I think, when you're going through traumatic experiences or dealing with anxiety or sometimes you don't know you're in those states because you're just going, you know what I'm saying? And we would come back sometimes, numb ourselves a little bit, smoke a little weed just because our bodies were so tired. None of us had health insurance. So that was the way to try to numb the pain organically, like without taking, because we were all like always on the holistic tip, even from then. And so I was like, man, I don't want to take no ibuprofens and Tylenols and all that. So, and medical marijuana is legal in Los Angeles. So we were like, man, that's how we would numb ourselves. And then we'd end up putting music on and sessioning.
And y'all not.
And we'd be sessioning until like 2 in the morning and then wake up.
And y'all not 16.
Nah, we was like 20. I did that till I was 26 years old.
We was grown.
Yeah, I'm 36, so that was actually only 10 years ago.
So could you say, I'ma say it, I think that's probably one of the best examples of the most limited opportunity in making something out of nothing.
100%. But it seems limited, but it actually helped me hone my craft. Like I got to practice things every day. I got to learn how to draw a crowd in of people who don't know me, regular people. They're walking down the street, they're shopping with their kids. How do I get 200 random people on this street to sit and watch me for 20 minutes? And then after they watch me for 20 minutes, put some money in the bucket, hopefully. That's a different skill set. You learn how to engage with people. You learn how to interact with people. You learn how to talk to people from all walks of life. So like me and Buck talk about it all the time that like street performing made us the performers that we are now. I'm able to go in a Carnegie Hall or a UCLA Royce Hall or Kennedy Center or any of those places where I performed, Broadway, and take that energy with me everywhere I go because I know what it takes to be like, you're gonna watch me, and I know what energy I have to bring to do that, which is vulnerability and like 100% being locked in to the performance. You can't be anywhere else except in the moment. If you're anywhere else, it ain't gonna work.
And so that's what being an artist is.
Yeah.
Like you're an artist no matter what you have.
Yes.
You're going to make it happen. You're going to create something no matter if you're in a bedroom of 4 people sleep or you're in a mansion. Now we're going to create at this level with the resources.
It don't change.
Whatever resources you have, you can make something from it if you're a true artist, whether it's through dance or not, because you got directing. You said you did that as a kid.
Yeah, I've been
just from watching movies as a kid.
Exactly.
So that's just an artistic mind.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of these younger artists, whether you dance, sing, whatever, can implement that. Just use whatever's around you, bro. You got plenty of. When you wake up, if you're a creator, it's something around you can make.
I mean, nowadays with the iPhones,
that's what I feel like it's the easiest time.
It's like 4K. You can shoot whatever you want. You can put it on. You can put it on the gimbal. I mean, I done seen people who shot movies with iPhones.
John, I ain't gonna cap. I personally thought you was tripping on this, but I knew you wasn't tripping. I just didn't know how people were gonna respond to it. So I'm like, dang, he went crazy. Like he tripping. Like they're not gonna like this.
Yeah.
When y'all did that performance in the woods. Oh no, it was you, Switch. It was in the park. Mm-hmm. We know it's fire.
Oh, New Slaves.
Yeah, we know it's fire, but we like in that world at the time, we like, oh, this is not going like.
Yeah, what's
he just
doing?
going and he going. He's taking it there.
Yeah,
like, bro.
Yeah.
Cancel wasn't out back then, but it was.
Yeah.
So we like.
Yeah.
Is he trying to get canceled? Like, we trying to come up. Like, what you doing?
What's he doing? Yeah.
For you to be that bold even back then,
let
me know. Oh, this nigga, he's doing it. Like he's about to go to a new height with it?
It's you know how it is. There's some things that are ahead of its time. You can look at a dancer sometimes back in the 80s and you can be like, I could place him right in 2024 and he would be perfectly fine.
Facts.
Or she would be perfectly fine.
Facts.
I think like I knew that in order to bring the Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, Baryshnikov era back, acting, meeting dance, meeting storytelling had to go to a new level. It just had to. You know what I mean? And I firmly believe that. And I was also like, I don't want to be like, and this is no knock, I'm just saying this like because this is respect to all these people. I don't want to be like Poriotics. I don't want to be like Jabberwockies.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all successful. Yeah, they're all successful. I'm just saying like
groups.
they found their niche.
Yeah.
I need to find my niche or else I'll never get to be a Jabberwocky or like they made their name because they found something that's specific to them that they enjoy. And I felt like I had something that was really unique and different because I had a strong love for film. And I was like, how can I bring that cinematic storytelling depth to my dance? And so I had to keep trying it. And I'm aware, just like, I mean, I come from an athletic background too. So you may not have the jump shot the first 2 years, but then if you shoot 500 shots a day, 2-3 years later, your 3-point percentage will go up. Your mid-range percentage will go up. All these things will keep. So I honed my skills for so long that by the time blind spotting came along, I was already 11 years in doing these type of concepts. So I already put in 10,000 hours of trying to figure out, and I'm still constantly trying to figure out the formula. It's never done. It keeps going. Yeah, it keeps going.
My spine was so lit, bro.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna cap, bro.
It was dope.
I had a ball when I said.
Yeah, it was dope.
You set me up too.
Yeah.
You set me up big time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all my story. It's brief, but I'm sitting at the crib. I'm watching it on TV, and I'm like, dang, I'm hitting John up while they doing it. Set me up the next season. First scene, I'm in there with the main character. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm going away, and I'm trying to milk it too. I'm in there, woo. I'm going crazy. Then the second scene, the Emmy one, I'm in there with the second main character. I was like, I'm in that boy like, crack. You know what I mean? Like first scene. So shout out that. So with TV, film, because we started from the bottom.
Yep.
We working our way up. TV, film. How do you take dance, your love for directing, and it segue into fashion, high fashion? Because you did the Virgil campaign, like for Louis Vuitton. I've seen Banana Republic, like Rag & Bone, like
I think it was the Rag & Bone situation was like, I mean, well, just like anything, even though fashion can tend to be more abstract, everyone's trying to tell a story in some way, you know, like, so even my outfit today, I was going for a 70s look. Like, so what I'm wearing is telling a story. I'm like, oh, the old school leather jacket that I thrifted, and then the old school corduroys and platforms, you know, so
he got that on.
I'm just saying in general, even in fashion, they're trying to tell story. So the way you segue the dance and the film into fashion is it doesn't really change. It's like, what are we saying? What is the clothes supposed to be saying? Okay, the fall campaign is about expressing yourself, right? Okay, cool. How do we do that? And so I think I naturally just, because I already had some short films out in the world that were abstract, like A Color of Reality and stuff like that, which sometimes I didn't even think those things would segue into fashion, but they did because they were provocative. It evoked emotion out of people. So it doesn't really change. The medium just changes. So when I got approached about the Virgil piece, it was like, obviously Virgil is he's iconic in the fashion world, not only just for African Americans, just fashion, period. He's an icon, and we wanted to do something to honor what he brought to the table. So that's why I was like, well, we need to have as many black dancers as we possibly can, because what Virgil did for the black community, he inspired a whole new generation of black fashion to step into their artistry. So I was like, let's get the like Avengers of every style of street dance to like dance in celebration of this African-American icon, and then I have icons of African-American dance.
Every genre.
Yeah, celebrating another icon in a different genre of art. And it worked out. So, but my first one, I got to give Buck credit, because not a lot of people don't know this story, is the Rag and Bone. Buck was already set up to do the thing with Baryshnikov. Now, Baryshnikov is like the Michael Jordan of ballet. He's the greatest ballet dancer of all time. There's no dispute. There's no argument. You can ask, like most people.
Younger clips of him going.
Yeah, he's like the GOAT. And they wanted to do this Buck and Baryshnikov collaboration. And Buck really like vouched for me. He's like, I want Jon Boogz to be a creative consultant on this. Now you gotta understand, Rag and Bone is like, who is Jon Boogz? And why are you pushing so hard for this dude to be a consultant on this massive campaign with Baryshnikov's? A lot of money going into this. And Buck just kept pushing. He's like, dude, he's got phenomenal ideas. Now, granted, he showed him Color of Reality and Drop Yet. This is pre-Color of Reality. He's showing them like the other stuff I'd done. And they're like, I think, to be honest, they were just trying to make Buck happy. Okay, cool. All right, bring him on. We'll let him. And then when I got in the room, I had a lot of ideas. I was prepared for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, because I felt doubted too. I was like, oh, they don't think I should be here. So now I'm gonna show them why I should be here. It went from me not supposed to be there to being a creative consultant to then one of the wardrobe people going, hey, can you just try on the clothes just for fun? I just want to see how they look on you. And I was like, all right, cool. And then, do you want to be in the piece? Because you look really good in the clothes. It like fits you perfectly. I'm like,
say no.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, sure. And then dopest.
I want to be in the piece. Yeah.
Dopest story, bro. I mean, now I went from not supposed to be there, creative consultant, to now I'm a model in the piece. And then Buck's like, yo, he can. They didn't know I could dance. You know what I'm saying? So Buck's like, yo, he's like one of the dopest poppers in the world. Like Buck's like bigging me up. He's trying to like, he's like,
W Buck.
Yeah, Buck.
W Buck.
Buck's a real one.
A little bit. I'm just like, for your people who don't know, Lil Buck and Jon Boogz are partners. I mean, they created or pretty much pioneered what we call movement art or movement artists of what it is today, telling stories through movement. Those are the guys. So
so Buck,
and that's my dog.
Buck is like he's bigging me up, and then they go, all right, well, we'll let him dance. Cool. They're like, camera set up how we are right now, right? So camera's up, set up. I'm waiting for the music to drop, and then Baryshnikov walks over, super stern, super chill, like, and then he stands right behind the DP, and he's just looking at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, pressure's on. I think he wants to see, like, what's he gonna do? I solo for, I don't know, I just blacked out. I just went as hard as I possibly could go for like 4 minutes straight, and then they go, cut. And everybody's kind of quiet. And then Baryshnikov just smiles and walks out and gives me the biggest hug. And I was like, that was one of the dopest moments, because that's the moments where God is telling you, like, you're on the right path. Mm-hmm. And we were at that time, we were dealing with, I'll be honest, I'm vulnerable enough to say this. I was dealing with validation issues, because the underground street dance world can be toxic. And it can bring toxicity out of you and make you doubt yourself and all that. So like to have the legend, the GOAT of one of the GOATs of dance and the GOAT of ballet be like, you are amazing. And then he started asking me, what is that style that you're doing? What is it called? We and him had like a 45-minute conversation about popping techniques, what I'm doing, waving, animation. And I'm like, wow, I'm literally sitting here with Michael Baryshnikov chopping it up. And that gave me a boost of confidence that I was like, oh yeah, I can be great. You know what I'm saying? Like I can be great. So
that validation thing you just said, bro, you had it back then.
Yeah.
Imagine what it is now for the younger generation coming up. Like you can't even wake up and look on your phone without needing to be validated if you're an entertainer.
Tell me about it.
You go on Instagram, somebody can just troll. You're trash.
Fact.
You may have 1,000 comments on there that says, great job, and you're going to see, I'm trash.
Yeah.
Or let's say you got a hole in your shirt, or you had one little thing. Mm-hmm. The internet is going to flame you. Mm-hmm. That's just it. Mm-hmm. So not searching for that, or how did you navigate that and still be able to continue, because it's still, you had the validation issues before you got there.
It's for sure.
So how did you navigate through and still be able to push through to get that Baryshnikov space or whatever?
To be honest, I don't know everybody's spirituality, but I believe in God, you know what I'm saying? And I believe God shows you signs, and some people are so distracted they're not aware of the signs, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be like open to the signs coming from God and the universe being like, you're right where you're supposed to be. Validation issues hasn't stopped. It still exists for me today. I won an Emmy and still feel like I got to do more, or I haven't done enough, or whatever. You know, I'm always flirting in the line of balance of being content and being like, I ain't done shit. You know what I mean? So it's never really changed. It's just more like those little breadcrumbs throughout your life that let you know you right where you need to be. Like another breadcrumb, and I'm not even trying to name drop, but I told you two. Now this is why it's connected. Hear me out. This is God. What are the two movies I named to you earlier that my mother made me watch? Schindler's List, Color Purple, both directed by Steven Spielberg. You fast forward, 2017, I just left Cirque. I'm feeling nervous because I left a certified job that was paying me good money, health benefits, the whole nine, to now be a freelance director, choreographer, movement artist. I'm doing all this. And then this is crazy. One of my friends worked at Facebook, and she was like, I want you to come up and do a performance at Facebook and screen your films, because people need to just be invigorated by art. Like, we're up here working on Facebook and Instagram all the time. We need a little bit of art to come to us. I go up there, me and Buck do a performance. I screen the film, Color of Reality, and they're like, hey, we want to do a film with you. We're like, great, because this new product, Oculus, is coming out. So we were one of the first people to do a collaboration with the Oculus. And we were like, okay, cool. And they're like, Terrence Malick is going to direct it. Now, for those who don't know who Terrence Malick is, he's an iconic director. You know what I'm saying? Like legendary, like Zod. We're chilling. It's just me and Buck now, right? A 6-minute film with Terrence Malick, produced by Facebook. Some dude walks in. I look to my right, and it's Steven Spielberg. And I'm like, yo. I'm like, he's like, and Terrence is like, yeah, I invited him just to come watch. You guys are so amazing. I just called him and told him he needs to come see what you guys are doing. And I'm like, my childhood, Jurassic Park, Color Purple. Oh my gosh, what's the Schindler's List? Yeah. The man who created all these things is standing here ready to watch me perform. And I was just tripping. And then what's crazy is he loved me and Buck so much that he brought his family back to watch us all 3 days we shot at the Universal lot. And it was a piece directed by me, Buck, and Terrence Malick. So it was a collaborative direction with a legendary director. My childhood director hero is there watching me. And he says, what you're doing is ahead of its time. And he told me that to my face. And Buck can vouch for it. He was right there. He said, what y'all are doing is ahead of its time. And when it catches up, it's going to change things. And that was another moment where I said, this is not just me name dropping. I watched your films when I was a child. You know what I'm saying? And your films made me want to be the artist. And then
it went full circle.
So that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention to those moments. So that moment made me say, no matter what they're saying about me on YouTube, God got me in the right place. You know what I'm saying? You don't govern.
You gotta be.
Yeah, you don't.
It has to be.
Yeah,
because nobody was there when you was watching the movies.
Yeah, but to flip it, because I don't want people to think it's just a name drop thing. Here's another moment where God validated me through someone who ain't as famous as Steven Spielberg. I did that Carnival piece about my uncle being a heroin addict that I talked about earlier. After the piece was over, it was crickets. Because remember, everyone's doing Drake. Everyone's doing top 40 at Carnival. You want the crowd to be turned up. Nobody wants to be sad or be in no deep mode. I did it. I go backstage after the performance. I'm crying because I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that. People probably think I trashed out. I'm like, nobody clapped. I go out in the audience. This lady grabs me, full tears in her eyes. Don't know her name. Don't know who she was. She said, I just got out of rehab 2 days ago. And your piece hit me so deep. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Only person in the crowd that gave me love that night. Because I left. I was like embarrassed. You know, I didn't, I didn't feel confident because I didn't get the oohs because I'm looking for the validation. Ooh, I didn't get the ooh. And she telling me that later, it didn't hit me then. At that point, I'm just like, thank you so much. But later in my life, I look back and I was like, no, that was God going, keep doing that. Keep doing that. That's the move. You know what I mean? Because you're moving people's spirit. You're like taking it to a different level. It's not even just dance anymore. You're helping people heal in some way. It's like it's more than just
it's
dance.
like making a movie. It's like making music. And see, bro, people really, I think the world, and that's why this whole show is dedicated to the everyday 40-hour or more a week person to understand what we go through as like dancers in our case, but just artists, period. The three, what is it to be a trifecta in the art? You singing, acting, and dance.
Yeah,
I feel like we've watered down
the
dance. I love the fact that YouTube, Instagram, TikTok mass produce it.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But also that can saturate it or water it down to they don't get that experience. They don't even know, they are forgetting that this exists.
That exists.
Movement. You could go to a dance show and niggas be crying.
And walk out cleansed,
because
cleansed.
it's speaking through movement.
100%.
It's not just let me get my little views up.
Yeah.
Like this is an artistic trifecta it's a part of, bro. And we gotta put the respect back on that.
Yeah,
so,
but you're right. We have to put the respect
as
on
movers,
it.
we do.
Not the people. We got to respect it first.
Yes.
And if we respect it, then they have no choice. You know what I'm saying? But because we will fall for anything, we will do anything for the million views. We'll do anything for the likes, that we forget that there's more depth to what we do. And so, that's why I said I'm glad I came up in a generation and I found the lane before the boom of social media, because I know how deep movement is. I know how universal it is. It's a universal language that breaks down social economic boundaries. It's a healing modality. It's a response to an environment. It's so many things that's deeper than just, oh, he looks tight, and I think people just not deeply connected on the spiritual side of dance, and that's why it's not where it needs to be.
I'm about to turn you up now.
Yeah.
Now that we on that subject, we can't leave it.
Yeah.
We're on the state. We're going to talk about street dance as a whole.
Yes.
Now you, living legend, pioneer as a street dancer, nobody can say you're not a street dancer, that you ain't come from the mud, and then reach its pinnacle.
Yeah.
This is its entertainment pinnacle. That's where we want to be.
Yeah, blessed.
So with that, I feel like you have a big voice, and no matter if they want to or not, they gotta listen to what you're saying about street dance, bro.
Maybe.
So with that, the state of street dance, the state of the social media, and how and what people do with it, what is some advice you can give to movers now, or street dancers now, or just dancers period, where they can bring it back to that pinnacle of what it's supposed to be? Get us back in that trifecta of we're a standalone. Like, of course we want to collaborate and all that, but we are a standalone art form.
Yes. I think there's a lot of tips. I think tip number one is, and I'm gonna say this, do it within your means. Scared money don't make money. And I'm saying that meaning like never be afraid to invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if I would have never invested the money I was making in Cirque, Color of Reality doesn't happen, Am I a Man doesn't happen, we don't meet Terrence Malick, we don't meet Steven Spielberg, we don't do Love. Like everything I've done came from me going, I don't really got it right now, but I know I have to get this idea out because something in my spirit is saying it'll be a trickle effect later down the line. And do it within your means. I'm not saying don't go broke and don't pay your rent and all that. I'm just saying if you can, make sure you invest in yourself. 2, don't be afraid to make something longer than 60 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like I get the algorithms. I understand it. I get it. But also the things that at least I talked about that moved me were feature length films. You know what I'm saying? These are feature films. So I'm like, don't be afraid to make a 10-minute piece, a 15-minute piece, a 20-minute piece. I don't care if you do an hour piece, whatever, however much time the art needs, give it that time. A lot of us are adjusting our time based to others. So yeah, if there was any advice I could give to like new generation of street dancers and how to take it to that next pinnacle, I would say one, scared money don't make no money. You got to invest in yourself. Now do it within your means. Don't go broke. Don't not pay your rent. But like everything I've ever done, I put my own money. Every single film you've ever seen me do, I paid with my own money, or some portion of my own money went into it, because no one's going to believe in you or hustle harder for you than you. Secondly, 60 seconds, like it's okay to make art that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however much time the art needs, give it that time. A lot of you are making content based on the algorithm. So are you making art for you, or are you making art for them or an algorithm?
Straight up.
Now, granted, on a business method, if that algorithm is paying you money, hey, I ain't never gonna knock your hustle. But I'm being honest, I don't make art from that place. I don't. I'm not saying you don't have to. I don't make art from that place. I make art from a place of truth. And just like what we did with the Kendrick piece, The Mother I Sober, I ain't gonna lie, I genuinely was like, man, ain't nobody gonna watch a 7-minute piece on Instagram. And they did. And so sometimes you'd be surprised, because it needed it. And if it needed that time, or else it wouldn't have been the piece that it was. So just don't be afraid to give art the time it needs, invest in yourself. And I think those would be the two things I would say.
I ain't gonna lie, you turned me up to make me want to just like not care about the algorithms, because I used to care a lot, because you know my page got hacked, my first one got hacked, so I'm like, let me jump in the algorithms to boost my second page ratings up, but who cares, bro? Just make good art.
Just make it.
So now that we're on street dance, we're gonna get into our particular street dance. Now what we do is we pop. We got the coldest popping crew in the world, Control Freaks, and that's not biased. We're all a part of the 75th Emmy, so we're at the Entertainment History Forever, the first ones. So we got Control Freaks, that's our crew.
Yeah.
As a popper and someone who's taken popping to the highest level that it can go right now, and set the bar for other poppers to follow, that we want them to follow. The younger ones, we want you to take it even farther.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think the state of popping is right now worldwide?
Well, I appreciate you saying that about us and the crew. You know, I mean, I art is subjective, obviously, you know, but I truly believe, I truly believe, you know, because I believe in my team. I believe in the people around me. So I will always say me and my team are the best, because that's what we strive to do every day. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And anything in life, we want to be the best versions of ourselves. So 100%, we always with that. But I mean, I just think overall, the popping game has been gentrified, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of what it comes down to. It's like, it's worldwide, it's everywhere, and I love that. I love seeing an art form that comes from Black people be all over the world. I just wish I would see more African-American faces be at the forefront of the dance, because it comes from us, you know what I'm saying? And so to me, that's what's missing, is the proximity to the culture where it was birthed, which is Black communities. The proximity of the dance is so far from Black communities that, like,
it's here, Black communities.
Yes. Yeah, American Black communities.
Yes.
It's a disconnect. So like you see really high level technique all over the world, but sometimes you're like, oh, they're missing that expression, or they're missing that honest, vulnerable get off. Like, and sometimes you can only get that from the aspect that's connected to the real source of it. And so that's what I just think is missing. I think popping technique wise is at the highest level it's ever been worldwide, ever been. I'm seeing cats pop up in Alabama, pop up in Vietnam, pop up in Japan, like people popping everywhere. But I think the essence of it is gone, because the proximity to Black communities is so far that, like, a lot of people don't really know the who, what, where, when, why behind the actual
And I
dance.
feel like when they see it, they know because it's a feeling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's not celebrated as it should be.
100%.
And that's because everyone's in that competitive
Yeah.
instead of just I think the competition space
Yeah.
has made it so competitive that we can't even be honest anymore. People don't want to be honest.
100%.
And it's like, nah, like let's get back to more community, more parties. How about we don't throw a jam, we just throw a party, bro, everybody show up.
Yeah.
Cause that's gonna bring the honesty back. Cause that's more we're just communicating through the movement.
100%.
I ain't competing you, but yo, you cold. Yo, you cold. All right. I want some of that. You want that's how we communicate instead of just always competing because it's kind of
And that's a big reason, to be honest, that's a big reason why people ask me all the time why I don't compete anymore. And I just feel like it's become too like cookie cutter, too much politics, too much, because no matter what people say, some people say, well, Jon Boogz is just an industry guy and he does the TV art thing. He's not in the real underground. He's not in the real underground world. But I don't even care because that doesn't bother me. Think what you want to think. I know how long I've been in this dance. It's documented. I've been street battles, cypher battles, contest battles. I've done it all at the highest level. But what I'm basically trying to say is like, it's like almost like it's just a disconnect on a cultural level to the point where it doesn't appeal to me anymore because people will say that I'm in an industry, but that's an industry too. When people win battles, they get to judge. Then they get to judge battles and get paid. Then they get to teach workshops. So all this stuff is an industry. So some people try to make it seem like
once you put money to it, Wiggle said it best. Once you put money to it, it's an industry.
it's an industry.
It's professional.
That's what I'm saying. And but sometimes people try to use the idea that battling is keeping it real. And if you're doing shows and the other commercial industry stuff, you're more commercial. But in reality, both of them are industries. You just have to decide what industry, I guess, suits what you want to do.
Guess what? You have defeated and been a part of all the industries and came out on top and still going higher. So I definitely appreciate you coming and putting a drip on just every industry and how we can all navigate it coming from this street dance or just entertainment perspective, period.
For sure.
Hey, you turned the studio stories up.
For sure, man.
You turned up episode 2. Emmy Award-winning choreographer, y'all. My dog, Studio Stories. See y'all next time. Peace.